people are getting their ass whipped over here, and there's like Japanese go-go dancers over here. So that was one of the strangest fucking nights I've ever had in my life, and I've never told anybody that story.
All right, Mike, you're up on the board, and that means you have the honors of either going first or deferring for our final 2-point round, the news round.
Well, I might as well go. I'm here, ready. Page is turned. If you read the May 23rd edition of the Daily News, then you remember seeing Berkowitz goes wild in court and the quote, "I'll kill them all" on the front page. The article went on to describe how Son of Sam David Berkowitz went, quote, berserk at his Supreme Court sentencing hearing in Brooklyn yesterday. It was Berkowitz's second outburst of the day. Earlier, he had escaped guards and tried to throw himself from the 7th floor window. The incident left one officer injured and another hospitalized. He also shouted, "Stacy was a whore," in reference to his last victim, and repeated, "I'd kill her again. I'd kill her again." The 44 caliber killer's sentencing was postponed until June 12th, and he went under more psychiatric examinations, but was found fit to stand trial. On June 12th, he was sentenced to serve 25 years per murder in Attica Correctional Facility in upstate New York. He was eligible for parole after 25 years and has been denied each time.
Wow.
So a feel-good story.
Yeah.
Can I jump in here real quick? Sorry,
Sure.
the judge usually doesn't talk right now. I want to start a death metal band with you three guys. You mentioned in the article that Berkowitz goes berserk, so the band's going to be called Berserkowitz. That's all I got. I love it, and that was a feel good story. Thank you very much, Mike.
You're welcome.
Jesus.
All right, Mancrush, what did you bring for the news round?
All right, I don't have any serial killers, but let's go May 22nd of 1988. And you know what? The last several weeks, I've been fortunate enough to have some great news stories. Last week, I had the whole thing with the Sega Saturn debacle at E3. Then 2 weeks ago, I had the X-rated Evil Dead 2 story. And then 3 weeks ago, I had the mysterious ninja guy that died while parachuting with 79 pounds of cocaine strapped to his back. So I feel like if you squint your eyes enough and have a little bit of imagination, this story could almost be like those three stories merged together. It's like, it's a bit Grand Theft Auto, it's a little Skinamax, and it's a lot of drugs. It has to be. All right. So I found this article several times. So I'm just going to cherry pick the best headline of those. And that one would be another ho-hum California Sunday. And I'm going to paraphrase the article here. It's Los Angeles. The incident began at 6 a.m. yesterday morning when Valerie Morales, 27, was walking down the street in Los Angeles, minding her own business and taking in the early morning air when she caused quite the commotion. It seems that Miss Morales was entirely nude, and two motorists were eyeing her instead of the road when they collided. After the collision, Miss Morales decided to lay down in the middle of Glendale Boulevard and Effie Street, right on the crosswalk. When paramedics arrived, at the behest of the drivers, they took care of Miss Morales first. Apparently, she had not been harmed during the collision, and the paramedics loaded her in the back of the ambulance. Once they got over to the drivers from the collision, Miss Morales hopped into the driver's seat of the ambulance and sped off. From there, Miss Morales drove about a mile before heading north on the southbound lanes of the freeway. Driving in the wrong direction, she crashed head-on into a bread truck, slightly injuring the driver, before exiting the ambulance and running off naked down the freeway. A Los Angeles sheriff's deputy, who happened to be transporting a van full of prisoners, captured Miss Morales on the run. Valerie Morales was booked on suspicion. I don't know why it says suspicion. She fucking was. She was booked on suspicion of stealing an ambulance and driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Sadly, I could not find any like follow-up articles to see how this ended. But this one's like fun to play what if with. Was she just high as fuck? Was she on the run from someone? Does she take nude strolls often? Did the evil alien from the Kyle MacLachlan classic, The Hidden, take over her body? Like, I need to know what happened, but I don't. And there was no other follow-up articles. But yeah, nude pedestrian. She went Grand Theft Auto in Los Angeles. I thought it was pretty awesome.
What's it going to take for you guys to find this woman today and have her be the next guest judge? I'm serious.
Dude, like we had this story back in December. Remember the guy that this dude, he'd gotten arrested. He was in jail and they put him in a halfway house because he had like, I don't know, like 9 months left of his sentence or whatever. Instead of staying in the halfway house, this was like in Wisconsin, he splits and goes to California. And he's not hiding out though. He's trying to get actor jobs and he ends up going on. Do you remember he went on the Dating Game and like the fucking the Gong Show or some shit like that? And he got arrested because one of the like prison guards saw him on national television and then they went and arrested him. And we couldn't find any follow-up stories about that either. And we put in the show notes, like, have you seen this man? Because we were trying to find him and nothing ever happened. So like, go back to that December episode, people. And if you know who that guy was and he's still alive, have him get in contact with us. We'd love to hear that story. Valerie Morales, if you're listening, we want you on the show so you could tell your side of the story. There's such great news. I love the news round. It's my favorite.
All right, guys. So we'll go to my news story. Yeah, this is another fun one. This one was in newspapers across the country. This particular article comes from the South Florida Sun Sentinel, May 28th, 1998, where the headline reads, Nurse Ratched inflicts more pain. Louise Fletcher was charged with pinning a police officer between her car and a cruiser. Fletcher, 63, injured an officer Sunday night after he stopped on a road to remove a deer carcass. Authorities says she was charged with reckless driving. Now, the officer, Matthew Bennett, was hit from behind and suffered injuries to both of his legs. Now, Fletcher is best known as Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Now, what happened was the officer had stopped on the side of the road. He was getting a pair of gloves out of his trunk when Fletcher, who was driving a 1998 Buick, struck him from behind and pinned him between the two cars. Bennett had pulled his car off the road, but there wasn't a big shoulder on the side of the road, so it was still kind of over the line. He had his lights on. The siren wasn't on, but the lights were on, and then his tail lights were blinking as well. Now, police estimate that Fletcher was only driving between 20 and 30 miles an hour in the 40-mile-an-hour zone when she struck the police officer. So, yeah, I also did some research on this one. I really couldn't find anything that happened to Miss Fletcher because of this. Now, I did find an update where it was a repost of an article from an IMDb post, so take it for what you will, about a woman who posted saying that she claimed to be the sister of the police officer in question here, Officer Bennett, and that he went through a lot of injuries with this one, had a long 2-year rehab back, supposedly, a lot of physical therapy, and she kind of got a slap on the wrist for this one. So,
where did you find that? In IMDb posts?
Yeah, it was, okay, someone had taken a snapshot of an IMDb post from back when they had the comment boards and had posted it to another board. So it's like a third source of a third source. So take it for what you will. But some of the things she stated backed up some of the facts that I read in newspapers, in the newspaper articles. So
she went on and like, she went to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and that was the comment she left in there?
Yeah, she was basically ripping on Nurse Ratched here. So,
wow. All right.
But yeah, Nurse Ratched inflicts more pain. So that's what I got. Let's throw it down to our judge, Chris DeMakes, for the ruling on the news round.
Well, show you how sick I am. I thoroughly enjoyed all three of those stories. For a death metal band, Berserkowitz, I could okay that. Probably can't go with 1978 here to give the points. Just that guy murdered someone's family. For a death metal band, it's fine, but I don't know if I can get points to it. I don't even know how that reasoning kind of plays out. But I think here that I really have to go because I really want to meet this woman. I'm fascinated where Valerie Morales is today, if she's still alive, because it sounds like she was on a tremendous amount of drugs when that whole thing was happening. But if she is out there, and you guys do find her, and I'm gonna actually look for her myself too. But
would you write a song about it?
Absolutely, yeah. But it'd have to be present day. It'd be it kind of do the original story to present day. But if she's alive and she's out there, and you guys find her or I find her, if you guys find her, let me know. I'd like to know the follow up. So I'm going with 1988 Valerie Morales.
If we find her, we'll have you on the episode, and we'll all sit here and not say anything and just let you speak to her. It'll be like really weird. Yeah. We'll just stare at her, and she'll be like, "Well, why were you nude?" Well, it was hot.
Now, what are your guys' best guess onto what happened? Me personally, I think it was bees.
Well, actually, I've been giving this a lot of thought. I think what happened was she spent 72 straight hours watching the Osmond Brothers special.
Yeah. Oh, that'll do it every time.
If I can chime in for a minute, I think I'm chiming in because I haven't said anything in a while, and I'm pretty upset about it. This woman, she thought she was doing a Thelma and Louise into a canyon, but it was actually just a ditch, and she's still just sitting there leaning into the ditch.
Now, everybody watching this video or in the chat watching the live stream, down in the comments, let us know what you think is responsible for this, because there's so many different ways this could go.
I'm sticking with the. Have you ever seen The Hidden? I think it's The Hidden. It's like it sounds exactly like it.
It could be.
If they would have added that she was listening to heavy metal while she was speeding away in the ambulance, it's a slam dunk.
She was what 22 and 88?
27.
27. Okay,
yeah.
So 57. She'd be about 61 now.
Probably still naked. Still naked.
Still watching the Osmonds.
Yeah.
I can't get over Berserkowitz.
Yeah.
The first track has to be, or either the first track or the name of the album has to be Valerie Morales. Just
yeah. Yeah. And the front cover is just an ambulance. No explanation.
Oh man, I love it. Sign me up for that shit. Wait, did I win that one? Should we throw out our wild cards anyway?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, mine's short, so I want to throw this one out because it's one of my favorite movies. But I didn't select it because I wanted to win the movies round, and obviously Chris hated Rambo 3, so that didn't work out. So let's see what happens with this one right here. Not that it matters, but May 27th, 1988. This movie right here, it's awesome. Like if you're in the mood for the circus, ice cream trucks, spooky clowns, aliens, popcorn bazookas, laser pistols, gelatinous cotton candy cocoons, crazy straws, fun houses, pranksters, exploding noses, fireworks, the Terenzi brothers, go out and grab yourself a copy of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Ah.
Wow.
And I was torn. I was like, do I do it or Stallone? Yeah.
Well, my pick for the wild card round would have been just as cherry. And I'm sure since you liked all the other downer, horrible stories, Chris, you might have been into this one. May 27th, 1998. I have Murder and Suicide of Mr. Phil Hartman by his wife.
Oh,
wow.
So, yeah, she had shot him in the head, chest, and neck, and then called some friends and locked herself in a bedroom. And once the police arrived, she took her own life. So, yeah, I went dark for the wild card round.
Yeah, way to end on a down note. Mike, what was yours? Hopefully it's not like that.
Well, no, I went with a movie. Was released on May 26, 1978. Was a Bad News Bears ripoff called Here Comes the Tigers. Film had a G rating, 87-minute runtime, estimated budget of $250,000, shot over 3 weeks. The plot of the film is a wild team of misfits think they can make it big. What's a coach to do with a chronic nose picker, a flatulent fielder, an out-of-control pitcher, a juvenile delinquent, and the prettiest girl in the state? Turn this bunch of losers into a winning team. The movie was directed by Sean S. Cunningham, director and co-creator of Friday the 13th, also directed Spring Break, The New Kids, and Deep Star 6, as well as wrote and produced a few films of note. Another film that I actually happen to have a copy of.
Wow.
That's a straight ripoff. That's like not even trying.
I mean, it's really just like, we don't care.
No.
And the quality is about as good as Bad News Bears Go to Japan. So,
Well, I had Spring Break as a pick in a previous episode, and that one's just a blatant rip off of a bunch of other movies too. So
sadly, that one had a murder or missing person attached to it.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. There's always like these little tidbits that come out of this. But Chris, since you're on here, I have to ask you, and you have this new book coming out, Blast from the Past, and I have a feeling that you might be able to answer this question, because for years we've asked many musicians this, and we're always met with very vanilla answers. And I don't think you'll give us that, especially since we're new bandmates in Berserkowitz. Give us a crazy story from the road, from like touring. Tell us some shit that happened that people don't know about.
Oh, wow.
He's going through the Rolodex.
I went to Fat Mike from NoFX in 2009. He had rented out a dominatrix club. Like, I think he spent like probably, I don't know, 20 grand to rent this place out. And a bunch of us went there. And from band guys, a couple guys from Sum 41 were there. A couple guys from Bad Religion were there. NoFX, my band. And yeah. Are
you like leading towards a pony show? Like, where are we going?
Basically, I didn't realize that upon entry that you're because it was, I guess, private. I don't know. That all of our clothes had to be removed. So I'm standing at the bar drinking with Steve-O, the drummer from Sum 41, like not even socks on. We're completely naked, just drinking like it's fucking normal. While people are getting their ass whipped over here, and there's like Japanese go-go dancers over here. So that was one of the strangest fucking nights I've ever had in my life, and I've never told anybody that story.
Wait, do you remember what you were drinking though?
Probably something fruity like a Mai Tai or something. I really don't remember.
How did you tip the bartender?
Which time?
That was the other thing. It was and this is a strange word to use with this. It was all inclusive, so there was no tipping. There was no exchange of cash. Mike had paid for everything.
That is fucking wild. That makes up for everybody's vanilla story that they've come with. Like,
Totally.
We've asked other bands who were like, oh, this for sure they're gonna have like a fucked up story.
Yeah,
and
you know,
like,
and
nah.
here's a bunch of guys in bands that you like, I don't know, like we're naked, like standing there hanging out, talking to each other, drinking, when like, yeah, there's go-go dancers and stuff around, but there was really no women, and there was just a bunch of band dudes rented this place out, and they had like the local staff. Like
It was
like
ladies' night on the group chat.
yeah. Free Mai Tais for everyone.
So are the pictures from that going to be in your book?
No, luckily there's I think the only pictures that exist from that are from our sax player. He has some pictures of himself getting whipped and wax getting poured on his nipples, but yeah.
Oh, it's like Christmas at my house. Can you talk about Blast from the Past a little bit? Tell
Absolutely.
people what's going on with that.
Yeah, so I released my first ever book this past December of 2020. It's called Blast from the Past. You can go to chrisdemakes.com. And it's an 18-month book campaign. Every 3 months, I release a 7-inch record with 2 songs on it and some merch items, limited edition exclusive merchandise items. The new 7-inch is out now with Never Surrender, as you mentioned. The flip side of that is Father Time. That single's getting released on June 9th, so very soon, the second single. And then, about 4 months from now, another record will drop. Basically, the last 7-inch is going to come out around February of 2022, and that'll be the fifth one times 2 songs. That'll be 10 songs, and I'm holding 2 songs over. So around May or June of 2022, I'm going to tack the last 2 on and do a full-length album called Blast from the Past. So it was just, the idea was to every couple months, new items to push the book, and it's a picture book. So basically, it's over 365 pictures from my travels with Less Than Jake over the years, and every picture has a story attached to it. So
sweet. That's pretty awesome. So you wrote the book too? You wrote like the stories that go along with it?
Yeah, I basically I did it through Instagram. I woke up one morning. I had moved not too long prior to this, and I was going through photos, and I thought, I took a picture of this or scanned a picture one morning. I threw it on Instagram with a story about it, and I had always wanted to write a book. And about 3 weeks into this, I realized I'm writing my book one story, one picture at a time. I'm going to do this for 1 year straight, and I did. I on December. So it was December 5th of 2018. I wrapped up December 4th of 2019 with the final entry on Instagram. So then I took all those stories. Of course, I had to then edit the stories because some of them were in present tense on Instagram. I had to kind of there was a lot of editing and retelling of the stories, but pretty much my Instagram posts then were compiled into a book.
That's pretty fucking awesome. Since we're on video right now, do you have any of them that are available? Like any of those pictures that you could just like show up and show and like tell us a short story from that?
Yeah, I can grab one right now. Let me just go grab the book. 1 second.
Sweet. Check out Chris's calves when he gets up.
It's so creepy that you say that.
He's been working out.
All right, so there's me on the front cover. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm dressed as a truck driver. So basically, I used to take the stage dressed in crazy outfits. Like I'd be Richard Simmons, and all the stories are in there of why I did that. It was just basically out of boredom. There I am, right there.
Nice.
Dude, I dig this from one stash to another. I like.
Yeah, I would dress in these crazy characters and. But there's a little bit of everything in here. Like there's this guy. There's another one of my characters. And I would take the stage like that. And so there's stories. And that story right there with that guy I just showed you, it says, somewhere on tour on planet Earth, sometime between 1998 and 2002, Seth Baumeister was one of my go-to characters, one I could always count on in a pinch, a true rock and roll rebel from the heartland of Florida, the kind of guy who would tell you that your girlfriend is cheating on you, but not tell you that it was him. One time I went out dressed as Seth after one of our shows. A few of the guys and myself ended up at some karaoke bar. After a few libations, I got up and absolutely destroyed Highway to Hell by AC/DC. The place went nuts. After I finished belting out the very last scream of the song, I did a mic drop, walked off the stage, and went back to the tour bus for a nightcap. I've never felt so empowered. So just little stories like that all through the book. Just all true stories of what we were going on. I'll read one more here. There's another character there.
Oh man, you look rough in that one.
Yeah.
You look like a bounty hunter or something.
And this one was somewhere backstage on tour in Australia, September 1999. This was a look that came very naturally to me. Growing up in the South, you'd see this guy everywhere. So I decided to take him abroad. The Australians barely batted an eye at this character. I wish I still had those boots. So, but it's a fun read. It was a lot of fun to put together, and that's probably one of my biggest hobbies is reading rock and roll autobiographies and biographies. And I've always wanted to write one. And I put pen to paper, and I probably got, I don't know, a chapter or 2 or 3 into it over the years. And it kind of all started reading like the rest of them, like, hey, I'm Chris DeMakes. I was born in Michigan. I moved to Florida, and, just kind of boring. And this was a very unorthodox way to do a book. And there it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to pick that up because that's pretty sweet. Although, and I've said this a million times on the show, like I never have time to read. So I need like somebody to read it to me. So that's why I love Audible. But whatever. It's cool because it's got pictures.
Man,
yeah, it's got
Come
pictures.
on.
I know. I'm like a child.
It's a good toilet read, or some of my friends have told me. So,
Nick, what are you doing in there? I'm reading a book. Shut your mouth. And dude, you got
my
this
audio book of the picture book.
I think you have like the coolest last name that goes along with that with anything. Like, so you got DeMakes a book, but you also have DeMakes a podcast.
Yeah. So I just coming up on a year of Chris DeMakes a podcast. It's a songwriting podcast that each week I have a artist come on and we pick a career defining song that they've released over in their career, and we basically discuss, critique, and analyze the song top to bottom in about 45 minutes. I break it down and I just get really into it. I get into it so much where the artist is like, they're looking at me like, what? Like I'm telling them, yeah, like in the second verse, like the guitar is a little louder in the right speaker. On the first verse, it was in the left speaker. Why is that? And they're like, I don't know, but it's been a great journey. We're the listenership's going up every week. We got a Facebook group, Chris DeMakes a Podcast Facebook group. Right now we're over 3,000 members and growing, and it's a great place for everyone to hang out, and I'm loving it. It's great.
And you're talking about the episode that was with Lagwagon, right? With the left and right.
Yeah. So
I
just had Joey from Lagwagon on.
And then you had Roger was on, and you guys talked about your own song.
Yeah.
And I think even then you were like, wait, that's what that was about. Like, you guys were going through the I guess the original lyrics of the song weren't the same way. We're talking about science here. It's amazing how in depth you get on that show. So it's kind of like our buddy Drew Zachman that comes on the show a lot. He's got a show called Songs Gone Wrong, but of course they're not in the band. They're doing it from the outside. You guys are doing it from the inside, and it's so much more in depth when you hear musicians talk about. Because when you guys were talking about like different keys and stuff, I had no idea what you were talking about, but it was super friggin' interesting.
Yeah, and I try my best to keep it in layman's terms. The last thing I want is someone to tune in and go, this seems like it'd be interesting to me, but they lost me in the first minute, So I try to keep it as basic as I can, and I stop short of getting into what guitar and amp did you use on that? Like you're going to start losing people with gear talk, So I try to keep it as basic as I can, but still do a deep dive into the song and really, and it's just been fantastic. I've really been able to get the human emotion. I think that's why people have gravitated towards the show in terms of, this song. And a lot of guys will just stop and they'll kind of choke up and they're like, all right, so this song's about this. And these are like people that or some of these songs are 15, 20 years old that no one knows the real story, that they've actually given me the scoop on my podcast of what it's about. It's pretty cool.
Are a lot, because we obviously go through music a lot in every single episode, and we go through lyrics. So at least myself, I read what however it's interpreted online. How much do you think is bullshit online? What you read, what a song is about, compared to when you talk to these people and they're like, nah, that's not it.
Probably 85% bullshit. I mean, because music is so subjective. It really is. Yeah. What a song means to you may not mean to me, and I think that's the beauty of music. We can all take something different away from it. But yeah, there's all the time I'll be googling songs and like, what is the meaning behind this Pink Floyd song, and you'll like start reading like, is that really it? And this is just some guy that threw something up on the internet. And don't even get me started on lyrics. Like you go look up lyrics. We think we have it easy now, because back before the internet we didn't know what the lyrics were. It was actually probably better back then, because now people are just butchering them online. So
man, so even the lyrics are incorrect
most of the time. Yeah, I have to really zone in and listen and go line by line and get the lyrics right, because most of the time when you get them off Google, they're wrong.
See, this makes me feel like shit anytime I picked a single and I found like what I thought what was it about, or like whatever somebody said the interpretation was. Now it was probably complete bullshit, and I'm spitting that out. Now somebody's at the bar talking to some chick, and they're like trying to like act smart because I said something to them, and it's completely bullshit. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
First of all, Mancrush.
Sorry to ruin the myth.
First of all, Mancrush, nobody is using knowledge they learned on Dueling Decades at a bar to pick up women.
It's like the Spanish Fly. I heard one of our listeners told us that. I'm gonna go with that. And as far as like Berserkowitz goes, like what episode are we gonna be on, and are we gonna cover Lisa Morales, or like?
I think it's Valerie Morales, but who's counting at this point?
That's her middle name.
Yeah. Is there any serial killer podcasts we could debut our single on?
Oh, are there any?
I'm sure there is, because like there was like that Ted Bundy series that like women were fascinated about, like, which I didn't get that whole thing, but I'm sure there's a podcast.
There's so many true crime podcasts. It's almost like every other podcast is a true crime podcast. Yeah. So like, I think people would be all over that. For real. And one of the other things I heard on your show, if you want to plug this too, you do custom songs for people.
I do, yeah. I do custom songs and jingles. I just did one today for a podcast. So like an intro theme song, a jingle for your business. Aaron from Real Big Fish, he was down in Florida about 6 months ago, and he sent me a video. It's hilarious. I actually put it on my YouTube page. It's him and his wife driving down I-95 in Florida, and he's singing my song. It was for Terra Nova's Pizza Restaurant and Pizzeria. I did the theme song for this pizza place down there, and Aaron knew it was me immediately. Just thought it was hilarious. So custom song for your wedding, your anniversary, for retirement party, graduation. You know, I've done them all. I did a song for some guy that hates his boss, and
Nice.
you know, wanted me to basically tell that's how he was quitting his job, was through this song. He emailed his boss, basically telling his boss to F off. So yeah, it's been really cool. It's been a great way to connect with the fans, and you can check out my stuff on my YouTube page. It's all my custom songs are there, and it's pretty cool.
Sweet. Dude, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll be looking for the emails from you on when we're gonna rehearse and all that stuff.
Definitely.
Right on, man. You guys were a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a great night.
Have a great night, dude.
Bye.
All right, duelers. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to end this episode right here. But if you've missed an episode, don't worry. You can always head back to our website. That's duelingdecades.com. You can find all the links where you can subscribe on iTunes, on Spotify, everywhere podcasts are available. You can find all of those links right in the show notes for this episode. So until next time, duelers, we're going to bid you a peace, love, light, and a joy. Have a grateful week, everyone.